What's up, you guys? It's Daniel here. Today I'm going to be walking you guys through step by step exactly how to treat a concrete slab home for termites. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you will, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment any questions you have about what we did today. Earlier today, my friends and I treated this home for termites. It only took us about 2 hours, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how we did it. Alright, today to treat this home for termites, all you guys are going to need is a big bucket. 4 or 5 gallons is good. You're going to need some chemical. Taurus is what we have today. I will recommend other chemicals in the description. You'll need some water to mix the chemical. You'll need a nice shovel or spade or hoe or whatever you would like to use. And then you'll just need your brain to think about things before you do them, because that's helpful too. But today, so we're treating this house for termites. We're kind of doing it ourselves. We don't have any special equipment, as you guys can see. But if you'll come over here, what we did, we came over here and we dug a trench around the outside perimeter. It's pretty simple. All you need to do is, so this is a monolithic slab. It's one piece of concrete. There is no crawl space or any basement, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. So it's the most simple termite treatment that there is, but you just dig it right next to the house as close as you can. And the trench, the purpose of the trench is just giving the chemical an area to seep into, so you don't just pour it onto the grass in it. It'll just seep down into the grass around, so that wouldn't be good because you don't want the chemicals to go there. So once you get the linear footage, then you can know how much to buy. This is 78 fluid ounce container, 78 fluid ounces. This is the biggest one you can usually buy. It's cheaper to buy the bigger one, but if you don't need it, you shouldn't buy a bigger one. Yeah, so then we need to figure out how we are going to dilute this chemical. So every chemical pesticide has a label on it. They're usually a little bigger than this. This is one of the smaller ones, but it'll tell you exactly this. A lot of chemicals you can use for termites or just general outside sprays for like spiders and stuff, but this one we're using for termites. So application rates for termite use. For most applications, use a 0.06 dilution and apply at a rate of 4 gallons of dilution per 10 linear feet of depth. If you guys have a measuring wheel, I would use that, but we don't have one, so I'm going to walk it off. Gonna do the old method. About one stride is about 3 feet, so I'm just gonna walk and count my steps this way. All right, we got about 24 times 3 equals 72 feet, and then I'm gonna walk this way, and we'll call it 10, so that was 30. You don't have to get all these nooks. See, there's like another couple feet. You don't have to get super precise, just get a rough estimate of the outside perimeter. And this should be the same, but I'll just double check it. There's a garage at the end, so it might be a little different. All right, that was 24 also. So we've got a rectangle, 72 by 30. So we do 72 times 2
equals 144, and then we do 30 times 2 is 60. So we got
about 204 linear feet. So once you have the linear footage of the home you're treating, this will be, you can use this method for concrete slab homes with no crawl space underneath and basement homes. This method can be used if you have a crawl space. You're going to need to do a little bit extra math because you'll need more chemical. After we do that, we can look at our favorite termiticide. Today I'm using Taurus. I will probably put some other termiticides that I recommend in the description, but basically once you buy it, divided by 10 is 81.6. So we're going to need about 81.6 gallons today. So right here, 0.06 dilution, add 0.8 fluid ounces of Taurus SC per gallon of finished dilution. So they almost all have this nice little measuring device on here, so you don't have to pour it into something else to measure. And then we just need to figure out how big this bucket is that we're using. 6.5. All right, so 6.5. So that means you don't need a lid. It's dirty, so I'm gonna come over here and rinse it off. All right, so 6 gallons. So that means it said
the measurements on there.
Yeah, so 0.4 and 0.8. So we want to fill it up to 0.6. It looks to be about at 0.5 or 6, so I'll just give it another splash in there. That should be about 0.6. And open it up. Oh, also, so like there's chemical on this pencil now. That's not what you want. You guys should be using gloves to be doing this. You don't really need gloves, but officially I recommend gloves. All right, so we got about, all right, 0.6. So we got to do this one. Yeah, this is going to take a while. All right, I'm going to assume that's 12 ounces. So that's 3 gallons worth. About 4 or 5 gallons worth. And it doesn't need to be exact. You should just get it as close as you can. And then 6 gallons worth of chemical. So not much, as you can see. And then we will just come over and fill it up. All right, so we just got this section done. We're gonna start here. We got the chemical mixed into this bucket. I mixed it. The label, I mean, you guys just read the label. It'll tell you exactly what to do. Dilution percentage wise, but I mixed it twice as thick as our first pour. So now this 6 gallons should go twice as far. So we're going to be able to pour this 6 gallon bucket from the water hose there to about that window, and I'm just going to try to pour it evenly and just let it seep into the ground. If sometimes the ground will take it better. If you got like wet soil, it'll seep in pretty well. If it's dry, you might have to pour it and then come back and pour some more. But this is pretty good. All right, and that's that. So it'll just take a few minutes to seep in. And while it's doing that, we will get the next bucket ready and do the next section. All right, so we're moving on along here. We've got this whole area treated, and now you just simply push back the soil over the top of it. There's a lot of recommendations to like spray the soil that has been pushed back on top of the soil that we just treated, but that is pointless, really. I mean, you can do it if you want to. It's a waste of time. The chemical is in the soil. And I'll probably make another video about how the chemical works, but the chemical's in the soil. Like if there's soil on top of the treated chemical, the treated soil, it doesn't matter if it hasn't been treated. Bucket as closely as I can, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just gonna pour it into the trench. All along the house. And if you've got gutters like this, You can put some chemical in there if you want, but like I said, you don't have to have a complete barrier. It's a transfer chemical that kills off the colony, so if you miss a spot, it's not going to be a big deal because the colony will still find the chemical. And you just don't want the gutter to kind of wash the chemical down into the rivers or streams or anything like that, because that's not good for the environment. So a little bit more there. And I'll just pour this last bit in here. As you guys can see, I mean, dig the trench 3 or 4 or 5 inches out, and then just as deep as it needs to go to be able to hold the chemical. Usually a good 2 or 3 inches will be fine, but I mean, you can see the chemicals seeping in. The water is just a vector for the chemical to get into the soil. It helps it seep down further. Once the chemical gets down in there, it's going to bond to the soil. This treatment should last. It'll start wearing out over time. The chemical is going to wear out, but it should last a good 10 to 15 years. If you've got a bunch of moisture problems around your house, like not proper water drainage, rainfall drainage, it's going to make the chemical go away faster. But so that would be something to think about. But you should maybe treat your house every 10 years if you use the good chemicals. If you use the cheap chemicals, you should treat it every, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, because they're just not going to last as long. Okay, we got the next section here. So whenever you guys get done, be sure to fill this up with water and mix it up and pour it into your last treatment, because you don't want to throw this away with chemical in it. It's a big no-no with the EPA, and it's bad for the environment. So on the last treatment, wash this out, just pour it in with the rest of the treatment. So I can just pour it in now. And we will about be done after this. So the reason we're doing this today is because when this house was built about 1.5 years ago, the builders, every time a structure is built, they by law need to get it treated for termites somehow. And there is this system that people are starting to use. It's actually been around a while, but there's a lot of conflicting opinions about it. It does work, but it's these bait stations. This particular brand is called Centricon. They're one of the most popular brands. But basically, the pest control company, instead of treating the house for termites like we're doing with an actual chemical, all they're doing is coming out here and putting these plastic stations into the ground, and they're putting a piece of wood in these stations. So when these stations are in the ground, your home has no coverage from termites at all. So the particular person that lives here was notified by the pest control company that their annual termite renewal is due. You get an actual protection instead of just pieces of plastic and wood in the ground. So here's the station. Oh, there it goes. All right. So this whole thing was in the ground. This lid is on here, and then it's got this station in here, which all it is just a piece of wood. So they're charging the person that lives here a good $330 to have pieces of wood in the ground around their house a year. Yeah, so every year. And then if termites ever do come and eat this, then they will put chemical in with it, and I don't think they charge extra if they find termites. It's just part of the contract. But of course, I wouldn't pay $330 for this to be in the ground. So we'll leave this in here for now. They're supposed to come and pick it up and get it out. But that is that. I'll make another video detailing exactly how they work. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's the end of the video. If you guys have any questions, just drop a comment below and I will be sure to answer them.